Hello, welcome to another episode of THP Tutorials. In today's video, we'll be looking at operations management. At the eighth chapter, that's location planning and analysis. Right, we'll be looking at the ways or the methods of evaluating cost. There are three. There's a center of gravity approach. There is the cost volume profit analysis, and there is the weighted scores and the factor rating method, right? So we are starting with the center of gravity approach, right? So let's give a little information about the center of gravity. So the center of gravity, or COG, it finds the location of distribution center that minimizes the distribution cost, right? So the center of gravity is trying to decide on the location which minimizes the distribution cost, right? So it's focusing on distribution cost, right? And it considers three things: location of markets, the volume of goods shipped to those markets, and the shipping cost or the distance, right? So those three things: location of the markets, the volume of the goods shipped to those markets, and the shipping cost or distance, right? Right. So you place existing locations on a coordinate grid, right? You place existing locations on a coordinate grid, and you grid origin and scale its you grade the origin, right? And the scale is arbitrary. Or yeah, arbitrary. That means random. There's no fixed scale. You just have to look at the values or your coordinates and choose the right scale. Right. So now you maintain relative distances. Very well. Now the next thing you do is you calculate the x and y coordinates for the center of gravity, and you assume cost is directly proportional to the distance and volume shipped. Right. So here on my board, I have the formula, right? You understand that you calculate the x and y coordinates for the center of gravity, right? So this is the formula. So at the end of the day, the center of gravity is going to give you an x and y coordinate, right? So this is how you solve for the x. This is how you solve for the y, right? So let's look at this sample question. East Texas Seasonings is preparing to build one processing center to serve its four sources of seasonings. The four source locations are at coordinates shown below. Also, the volume from each source is provided. What is the center of gravity, right? So there's Athens, Beaumont, Carthage, and then Denton, right? They have the x coordinates, the y coordinates, then this is the volume or the output. Well, you identify the center of gravity. So the first thing that we need to do is to plot our points. Do that here on the drawing board. The y coordinates, they go on the y axis, which is the horizontal axis, right? So this won't take much time. So y, and then x axis is a 0 point. Now when we look on this is our axis. Very well. Looking on at the question, how do we determine the scale? Remember that the scale is arbitrary, random. So we look with the x axis, the highest figure there is 50, and on the y axis, the highest figure there is 70. So you can just use a scale of 10. So 1 centimeter is equal to 10 units. If you are using your graph book, right? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 10, 20, 40. Right, so here we have our scale. Now I want to plot the points. We had Athens 30, the x being 30 and y being 30, right? So for Athens, x was 30 right here, and y is also 30. Using the t square, make it a bit more accurate. See 30 is right here. And you can just, so this is Athens. So Athens is right 30, right? Now the next was Beaumont 2010. 2010. That will be Beaumont. Our next was Carthage 1070. And next was Denton 50-50. Right, so we've plotted our points. Now it's time for us to find for the center of gravity, right? So that's why we use this equation or the formula given here. So the first, we start with the x, right? So this is the formula for the x coordinate. So for the x point, for the center of gravity, this is a summation of what? dxi here is standing for the x coordinates of the locations. Yeah. The x coordinate of the location, right? And so all the x coordinates of the locations is 20. So from the table that we have in the question, so this x coordinates 30 times 150 plus 20 times 350 times 10 plus 10 times 100, right? So all the x coordinates, we multiply them by the corresponding volume. It was 30 150 plus 20 350 plus 10 100 plus what? 50 200. Right. So that's a summation of the product of the x coordinates and the corresponding quantities. Now the down is the summation of all the quantities. So that will be the volume. So 150 plus 350 plus 100 plus 400. Right. So 150 plus 350 plus 100 plus 200. This gives us 800. And when you calculate the top, you get 22,500. This results in 28.125. Right? So we have solved for the x, which was 28.125. So in order to save time, we put the same thing. Notice that the same summation. So this will also repeat. So we'll maintain the denominator. It will still be 800. So only the top will change. It was still 50. So we maintain that. So for the y volume, so the what? 30, 10, 70. Right, and 50. Now when you multiply, when you do the summation, when you compute this, it gives you 25,000, which in turn gives 31.25. So that means that we can what? 31.25. All we have to do now is plot this on our graph and we'll be done. So the x was 28.125, right? So somewhere here, let's approximate. Then the top was 31 point, so somewhere here. Exactly. So this is our center of gravity. Right. So that's how simple this is. All you have to do is you remember the formula, but it's a very simple word, right? So thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.